very lovely good morning and welcome to RT Breakfast Show or Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV. I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Now this morning, as we look at current affairs, we have our guest who is coming from the Opposition Socialist Party, and we're talking about Mr. Festus Mwale. He is the Deputy Secretary General in charge of political affairs. Good to see you, Mr. Mwale, and welcome.
Good to see you, Smart. Good morning and good morning, viewers.
Okay, fantastic. Mr. Mwale, before we get into our discussion, we have a segment known as the newspaper headlines, where we look at the headlines for the day in our daily tabloids. Dear Director, we can go into the newspaper headlines. Okay, so we have the broadsheet, the Zambia Daily Mail, which runs with the headline 10 drown in Kawambwa, unfortunately. Unfortunate headline there. Then we have NGOCC for constitutional amendment. Mr. Mwale, that will set our discussion for this particular morning. So we'll skip it. But let's go to another daily tabloid. Okay, we go to the Daily Nation. Now the Daily Nation comes with the headline, now police grab Nagachinda's car. We are aware that PF Secretary General for the ECL faction was detained yesterday, and that particular vehicle was gotten from him. Okay, TONSE Alliance candidate abducted. Okay, opposition to unite in solidarity with Dr. Membe. We'll be discussing that as well, seeing that Mr. Mwale is from the Socialist Party. Okay, we go to the next daily tabloid. Okay, police summons Membe. It's like the Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe is making headlines this particular morning. Okay, cybersecurity crimes bills back in Parliament. Okay, then we have Judicial Service Commission advertises judges' positions. Okay, let's go to the last one, dear Director. Okay, so there we have it right there. Ndiswe Tulela. Okay, we can't be arrested. UPND cadres, their police, journalists and journalists. Okay, so Ndiswe Tulela, if you are Zambian, obviously you know that it means that it's us who are ruling, directly translated, saying that it's us who are ruling, and it's attributed to the UPND cadres. Okay, fantastic. Mr. Mwale, let's get into it. Yesterday, social media was awash with a call out to President Fred Membe coming from the Zambia police. Are you aware of this call out? And you have seen some headlines there. Are you confirming that Dr. Fred Membe has been summoned to appear before police on Wednesday?
Yes, thank you, Smarta. Truly, I can confirm that as of yesterday, we received the summons from the police. A call out was sent to us requesting Dr. Membe to appear on Wednesday at Force Headquarters. Okay. So I can confirm that.
Okay. Most headlines were running with unclear circumstances. In unclear circumstances, he has been called or summoned to police in unclear circumstances. Did the call out indicate why he's being summoned?
The call out did not indicate why he has been summoned. So tomorrow, Wednesday, that's when we'll hear what charge they will slap on him. So it is simply a call out. But riding on the assumption that this may have to do with the statements that were made during the joint press briefing of the opposition leaders on Saturday at Charisma Hotel, where Dr. Membe, as one of the leaders of the opposition alliance, was urging the security forces of our country to be non-partisan. Yeah, I think that has not sat well with the government. Of course, there is no criminality there. It was a political statement. It was just a general statement urging our security forces not to play a partisan role.
Okay.
Basically, that is what it was. It is a statement. I was there when the statement was made. I've read through the statement. It is on social media. You can read it, go through it, analyze it on your own.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Now, having said that and seeing that the Socialist Party president is making headlines this particular morning, let's go to one other issue, Mr. Mwale, the constitutional amendments. We are seeing one of the headlines. They are suggesting that NGOCC also supports these constitutional amendments, according to that headline that we saw there. But I attended the press briefing on Saturday.
Good.
And part of the matters that were discussed was to do with the constitutional amendments, proposed constitutional amendments. Let me get your general view coming from the Socialist Party.
Yeah, first of all, I can assert that broadly speaking, no one is opposed to constitutional amendment.
Okay.
A constitution can be amended, answered when it is necessary to do so. Yeah, but there are prerequisite steps that must be taken to ensure that the process is open and transparent to anyone. That is not what we are seeing in this proposed amendment process. Smarter, any process, constitutional amendments are not only the preserve of the political party that is in power or the politicians. This is a process that goes beyond the political partisan lines.
Okay.
It's a process that affects the civil society, NGOs, the churches, everybody, including the politicians. So by and large, the party that is in power plays more or less a facilitative role. So there must be consensus built around the constitution, because this is the supreme law of the land. It is not only the law for the ruling party, it is the law that affects all of us. And therefore, a broad consensus is a necessary prerequisite to it. So from the beginning, what you are hearing of a draft constitution. There is no draft, is a draft constitution. So these are genuine concerns that are being raised. So if another group sat in one corner and then came up with a draft, then definitely our concerns are legitimate. We have to ask it. I don't think it is wrong for me or for us to ask to say, who did the draft, because that draft must be done openly by the people themselves.
Okay.
So, and then what we are seeing is when we raise these issues, when our leaders raise these issues, they are throwing the party cadres to respond to these issues. And party cadres, out of excitement, instead of responding to the substantive issues raised, they begin to attack the personalities of our leaders. And that does not benefit the general populace, because people want to know, people want to be involved in a process that is clear, that people can understand and follow through, so they can participate in it. But we have a situation here where the ruling party is the one that is playing the facilitative role as well as implementing, because they have already done the draft. Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwale, I attended the press briefing on Saturday, like I said. Then I also attended the press briefing held by the ruling party, the UPND, at their secretariat. Now, there were some remarks that were made, since you brought in the aspect of political cadres responding and attacking the personalities of your leaders. One of the speakers there at the press briefing for the UPND, who is your former member, Father Frank Waya, he did make mention that your party leader, Dr. Fred Membe, that he hates the current president, that is Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, that even the press briefing, even what you were saying, was out of hatred for the current head of state. What is your initial reaction to that?
First of all, Smata, you and I were there. In that statement, it's in public domain.
Yes.
Do you trace any element of hatred against the head of state in that statement? Certainly, it's not, I haven't seen it. So that is why I'm saying, when our leaders raise legitimate concerns, and then the party in government is throwing cadres to respond, these cadres do not follow these issues in a manner that would make it appropriate for them to make an informed or a reasoned response. Government must come forward and respond. That way there will be a dialogue, that way there will be a reasonable debate.
So you expected a response from government?
Exactly, okay. Exactly. Those issues were raised by opposition leaders. And then you are throwing cadres, instead of addressing the issues, they are attacking the personality of Dr. Membe, they are attacking the personalities of our leaders, they are alluding to, they are becoming so sentimental, they are saying there is hatred. But where are elements of hatred in that speech? So these are made up things just to deviate people from concentrating on the core issues.
Okay. Still on the constitutional amendments, what do you suggest should be done to this process? Do you feel, as the Socialist Party, the time is limited because we have a general election coming soon? Is it in the next 18, 17 months? Or do you think consensus needs to be built around this particular issue before we can embark as a country on the amendment that have been proposed?
Yeah, first of all, I said there are necessary prerequisites before amendments could be initiated or could be made.
Okay.
It looks like this is an afterthought.
Okay.
You don't see, Smarter, a budget line to deal with the issue of constitutional amendment. This is a costly process, first of all. It has huge cost implications.
Okay.
And in the 2025 budget, it's not there. So how can you undertake such a process that has huge cost implications and there is no budget line for it? This is a country that next year is going into a general election. It's also a huge undertaking in terms of cost. So these are legitimate concerns. We need answers on this. Secondly, thirdly, you need a legal framework to protect both the process and the content. So in the absence of these, it becomes, sorry to say, it becomes absurd to initiate, to undertake such a process. So these are legitimate concerns. The government needs to clear these. And let them be rational in thinking. Let them not just throw cadres that are coming to insult us. Let there be a reasoned response to the legitimate concerns that were raised at the joint press briefing held on Saturday at Christmas Hotel. Okay.
Mr. Mwale, you have been around to be privy to some of the proposed constitutional amendments that have happened in the past. In 2010, the MMD started the process of amending the constitution. It failed. We came to the PF, the Patriotic Front, also started a process that was known as Bill 10. It also failed. Do you feel, even now, the current administration is shooting in the dark when it comes to proposed constitutional amendments?
Precisely, they are shooting in the dark. As I said, one of the key prerequisites for constitutional amendments is building broad consensus around it. And if this is absent, if this is not there, the whole process is bound to collapse. And it will be a waste of resources. The whole process is bound to collapse. Smarter, you are also required to be part of the constitutional amendment process. All of us need to play a role. That's what it is. Because we are coming up with a supreme law of the land. It will affect everybody. It's not just a piece of law for the ruling party. No, everyone must be involved. As I said, it's not only the political parties that have expressed opposition to the manner in which the UPND wants to proceed with the constitutional amendment process. Even the churches have voiced similar concerns. It's not only the opposition political parties. So other players from civil society, the churches, have also voiced similar concerns. So their views also need to be taken on board. They need to be heard.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwale, let me find out, as the Socialist Party, are you familiar with some of the articles that are being proposed to be amended? Have they been availed to you as a Zambian citizen, first of all, and as a political party, because you are also a stakeholder in this particular process? Are you familiar of these particular articles?
No, you see, it's not, what is there are just speculations.
Okay.
There is nothing that is tangible, that is written out in clear terms. What is there just speculation? They are talking about delimitation, it's not there on paper. They are talking of, is it proportional representation? They are talking of increasing the number of youths, the number of women. It's all in a haphazard form. There is no, it has no specific shape as of now, where you can say this is it. No one has seen it except for the UPND themselves. This is where we are getting it from. Because they are saying they have a draft, and none of us is privy to that draft.
Okay. Now, let me take you back a week ago when Minister of Information and Media Minister and Chief Government Spokesperson, he was quoted in one of the daily tabloids saying that it's not the whole constitution that is going to be amended. So there's no need for consultations. Was that a correct statement?
It wasn't. It's a flawed statement. Right from its beginning, in its form and character, or in its substance, it's a flawed statement. As I pointed out, constitution making, constitution amendment is a preserve of the general populace. Broad consultation is a key prerequisite to it.
Even if it's one article?
Even if it's one article. You are coming up with a supreme law of the land. It affects all of us. So we need to know what laws they are coming up, what laws we need to come up with as a nation. These are going to affect us.
Okay.
So there must be clarity on these issues. You cannot just put them out there in a haphazard form. They have no shape.
Okay. Mr. Mwale, we asked you on the constitutional amendment. Let me take you to Article 259, which talks about when a person is sworn into office, or when a person assumes public office. It talks about this particular individual has got the right to appoint equitably, that is, women, youths, and also it also talks about regional balancing. It's there in the Constitution.
It's there, yes.
Article 259, it talks about regional balancing. So when making appointments, you have to make sure that all the provinces are represented equitably, that is. Then it also talks about persons living with disabilities.
Exactly.
If they qualify,
exactly,
they should also be considered
exactly
for appointments. Now, let me find out from you, Mr. Mwale. This already is there in the Constitution. It does not only mandate the president, but also the ministers, the permanent secretaries, the DCs, parastatal chiefs, CEOs, director generals of government agencies to appoint in balance.
Good.
Now, does it mean that we need to amend our constitution again for us to actualize this article, which is not being followed currently? So what guarantee do we have, Mr. Mwale, that with the new constitution amendment, it's going to be followed when we already have Article 259, which is not being followed?
I think, in a nutshell, let's not even crack our brains so much around it. It's very clear that once you are avoiding other stakeholders to participate in that in the process of amending the constitution, definitely it points to mischief. Okay. So there is an adequate provision there where you can include the youths, but here we have cabinet, for example. I think, is it 25, 24, something like that?
28?
28.
28.
But this is a cabinet with, I think, five women. Five women. So you can see the huge disparity.
So there's no balancing there?
There's no balancing there. There is no balancing there. And who appointed, who made that cabinet? It is them in power. And then they turn around to say we need more women in government. There is a piece of law that mandates them to do that. So who is breaching the constitution? Already, that is a clear breach of the constitution that has been provided for. We need the youths, but they are giving us recycled politicians every time there is an appointment. It's not the right way to do things. Governance must be inclusive. So to use the constitutional amendment as a political tool to play mingalato on others, it won't work. Let's just be open about it. It won't work. There are constitutional provisions. Yes, the constitution can be amended as and when it is necessary. Okay? Or when people identify a need to amend the constitution. But as I said, in the absence of these key steps, it becomes a political mingalato. It will not yield anything that people want. They are just being duped into legitimatizing the current oppression. Or what the UPND is seeking is to perpetuate its hold on power. If it was a genuine concern, why do they not want to sit? To sit with others, look at those issues from a broader perspective? Let all key players participate in it. But once you are kicking out, then questions are raised. Then these are legitimate concerns we are raising.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwadi, still on this particular issue, there have been concerns from governance pundits and other stakeholders asking this question, which I would like you to help us answer. They are saying, you, the politicians, when you are in opposition, you oppose some of these things. When you form government, you change, you begin to support the very things that you were opposing. I gave you an example of the MMD in 2010, pushing for constitutional amendments. I gave you an example of the PF with the infamous Bill 10. Now we are talking about the UPND also talking about constitutional amendments. Why the need, the thirsty, the hunger for amending the constitution before an election?
Yeah, but that's why I said there's some element of huge element of mischief in there. You can amend the constitution before the elections, but as I said, there are prerequisite steps that must be followed. There must be, the process must be open and transparent.
Okay.
Build consensus around it. Ensure that it is catered for in the budget. There's a budget line for it. Ensure that there is a legal framework put up to protect that process and the content. So in the absence of these prerequisites, it becomes absurd to continue with the process. And we urge Zambians not to be duped yet again. As you are saying, these politicians, when they are in opposition, they are the ones who talk about these things. Immediately they are in power, they begin to change. But I think that is a problem with us, the Zambian people. Once we vote, then we sit back on the terraces. We keep ourselves on the peripherals and just watch them. We need to hold them accountable to their weight. That is what we should be doing as Zambians. And this is exactly what the Zambians are doing now. We want to hold the UPND to its own weight. That's what we are doing. And when somebody raises a concern to say, we are holding you to your weight, because you promised the Zambian people that you are going to uphold the constitution, but now look at what you are doing now. You want to rape the constitution to suit your political whims, to entrench yourself in power. All you want is to perpetuate your hold on power. So we have to hold them accountable to their weight. Let's not just keep aloof and watch them. No. It must be like a football game, the way we watch a football game.
Okay.
The people that are seated on the terraces are also seeing the mistakes. We are part of it. We are part of the game. Although I'm on the terraces, but I'm part of the game. I can tell you that, oh, that one is a bad player, please take him out. If the coach doesn't heed the advice from those on the terraces, people keep making noise on him. In the end, in the ultimate, they will blame him.
Okay.
So,
okay, Mr. Mwadi, let me bring your attention to another issue. Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, conducted an online voting or survey regarding some of the, on 19th March, they posted that on their page,
Okay.
where they asked, is it 4 questions? What is more important to the Zambian people, that is, to reduce the cost of living, to amend the constitution, and also other issues. But I want to get these two. Constitutional amendment had 5%. Then improving the cost of living had 69%. So in a nutshell, the Zambian people are more interested in reducing the cost of living, having a better life, having access to cheaper fuel, having access to cheaper ways of doing business, Mr. Mwadi. Now, from that particular survey, Mr. Mwadi, some Zambians are saying, look, this process can wait for now. Why can't we concentrate on other pressing issues like load shedding, reducing the cost of living, and these other socio-economic challenges that the Zambians are facing? Are you also in line with that thought?
Exactly. Why the rush to change the constitution? Are we having a constitutional crisis such that we need to amend it almost immediately? I don't think we have that. The Zambians themselves, through those statistics, they have openly spoken loudly that what must be prioritized is the cost of living crisis, is the load shedding crisis, is the energy crisis, is the political crisis also. These are areas of priority. There is no constitutional crisis. We can deal with these issues after the constitution. As I said, the constitution can be amended as and when it is appropriate to do so. It is also appropriate to amend the constitution even after the elections. In the aftermath of the general elections, we can now sit and say, let's look at these issues. It can be done.
Okay.
It's, the right time to amend the constitution can not only be on the eve of the general election. It can even be after the election. Yeah. So they are trying to use the youths to say we need the youths, what. That is enticing language to lure the youths into and duping them into accepting the amendment of the process. But it's not for the youth. You can even see it. It's not about the women. It's not about the youths. It's not about even those with disabilities. This is open. No one can dispute that. It's not about the youths. It's not about the women. For example, us as Socialist Party, in the 2021 general election, in line with our manifesto, we said we are going to have 50% men, 50% women. Of course, these are men and the youths. I think the closest we got to was 48% women. Stood as the parliamentary candidates. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. So what they should be amending, perhaps, in my view, is their party constitution, because it does not allow youth participation in these political processes. Yeah, the socialist does that. It's evident. It's there in the public domain. 48% of parliamentary candidates were women and youth. Okay. There was no problem with that. Literally no problem with that. And we have no problem with that.
Okay. Yes. Now, Mr. Mwade, political parties do have manifestos.
Exactly.
And should the Zambian people fold their arms when a political party, for instance, forms government and they're seemingly doing away with their party manifesto and even doing away with the Republican Constitution? Because, for instance, Article 259 empowers whoever holds a public office to balance, to appoint women, to appoint the youths, and our brothers and sisters living with disabilities. What should the Zambian people do in such a case?
Zambians must play a proactive role in these political processes. As I pointed out, once we vote these politicians into power, and then we sit idly, but we retreat and sit on the peripherals. it becomes problematic.
Okay.
So we have to run through with them. Let's be proactive. We need to have a cadre of youth that are proactive. Follow these issues through to the end, from their beginning to the end. So if we relax and then we let them loose, that's how now we are coming to issues of amending the constitution on the eve of the general election, in the absence of all the key prerequisites that are required to initiate an amendment process.
Okay. 9 civil society organizations have come on the fore, and they've said they are rejecting this particular process, Mr. Mwale, because it lacks consultation, consensus building as well. But do you think they're on, is it firm grounds?
It is. They're on firm ground. I think they're on high moral ground. Why should you accept something that you don't understand? Tomorrow, one day, when that is enacted into law, it is us who will be affected. Why should a piece of law be enacted without our input? So, as I said, the amendment process must be preceded by broad consultation. There must be broad consensus built around the constitution around the constitution amendment process. There must also be a budget line, as I said. Who is going to foot the bill? Because it's a huge cost. Whether it's an amendment, whatever it is, an amendment, yes, but it has huge cost implications. Who foots the bill? They haven't disclosed that to us.
And it's not in the 2025 budget?
It's not in the 2025 budget. There is no budget line for that to support that expenditure.
Okay. Okay.
This is the government that has been saying, look, the USAID, the USAID, has withdrawn its support to the to our health sector rather.
Yes.
And government is crying. They have to look for resources to plug that gap. And here they are talking of initiating another process which is not even of immediate need. They want to amend the constitution. They want to do delimitation. Delimitation is also, it's also an exercise with the cost implications of its own. It is not like you are sitting in an office and then say, oh, palapa pitaka mana nishimoni kulia, palapa lishani kulia, yokuli chimuti chapalia, imoni that is an. You don't do that. These have huge cost implications. Come smart.
Okay, I'm loving how you're putting it, Mr. Mwale. Please come through and give us your views. Remember, we are live on Camnet TV, and also we are also live on the Socialist Facebook page as we discuss matters that border on national interest. Mr. Mwale, let me draw your attention to the issues that have got to do with the energy crisis, or load shedding as we know it. Now, the Zambian people are asking this question. We had flash floods, there was plenty of water, the rainy season was good, the gods smiled on us, but we saw communication specialists at State House giving a tour to principal public relations officers in Livingstone. And they went through, they toured, they even went to Siavonga, Kariba there, they checked. And according to his words, he said, yes, we have seen the floods. However, water levels are not sufficient for us to have adequate supply of power. That has raised a lot of eyebrows, Mr. Mwale, to the Zambian people, of course. There is no plenty of water, flash floods, people are being displaced. Then they are being told that it takes longer for water to reach.
Issues of the velocity.
Yes. Maybe help us understand this. How do you make of such statements?
No, Smart, I think let's not crack our brains so much around these issues. I did make a statement in one of my write-ups. I said the UPND is a project built on the foundation of lies. And this is coming true now. Well, it is themselves who are contradicting themselves. They told us there was a drought, as I was saying. There was a drought, that's why there was load shedding.
Yes.
But here now, we have lies have got short legs. We had the flash floods, as you were saying. But the truth of the matter is we are dealing with a party that is running government affairs like it is running a business. Mind you, these are capitalists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are capitalists. So they are running the country like it's a business. Okay, so everything they look at, everything they touch must lead to profit. But you don't run a country like that. You don't run a country like that. Then where is my place? Me who has no capital, where is my place in such a governance system? Okay? It means that those of us who have no capital to do business, we have no space in it. It's only for those that have got capital. So what has been happening with the load shedding issue? The crisis is generated from the fact that power is being exported.
Okay.
And they are not being open about it. They have never come to give a statement that there is load shedding because we are exporting power to Namibia, we are exporting power to Congo. They haven't come in the open to that. These are coming out just from the citizens themselves. Okay. So where there are lies, you're bound to have everything. It's all haphazard. So we are suffering. We have no load shedding. The fact is, there are profit mongers there who are earmarking all these things for profit making. That is all what is there. So we are suffering.
The Zambian people.
It's just the Zambian people.
Okay.
It's the Zambian people that have to bear the brunt of whatever is happening. There are people raking out profits from this. To us, it's load shedding. To them, it's about capital. It's about profit. These are profit mongers. These are dealers. These are not leaders. These are dealers we elected into power.
Okay.
How do you have load shedding the whole year? And look, all the micro businesses, for example, even larger ones, they are gone. They are gone. Here we are, we have no electricity. We have to use my gensets. And fuel is expensive. How many can afford? How many can afford that kind of life? So the cost of living has been pushed up, not because there are natural consequences, but these are artificial things that have been inflicted on us. It's artificial.
So, Mr. Mwale, if I'm getting you clearly, what you're saying is that the increment in fuel, load shedding, all these are being created by politicians that are currently serving.
Exactly. Because these are profit mongers that we have. In Malawi here, you have heard the price of fuel. It's about 15 kwacha. Why should Zambia, with all whatever it has, be selling fuel almost at 40 kwacha, 37 or 35, somewhere there? Where is the rationale? Malawi is selling at 15 kwacha. So we need to, these are issues that raise genuine concerns.
Okay. Mr. Mwale, let me draw your attention again to the issues that have to do with the social issues. You have talked about the high cost of living and also that it has been pushed up. Now, how then can we begin to address some of these challenges and make sure that an ordinary Zambian out there, Mr. Mwade, is able to afford 4 meals a day? Because currently what is happening in these communities, especially the densely populated communities, that people are having 1 meal a day. And if that 1 meal, if you are 5 of you, it's more like you've just tasted something, but you're not even satisfied. That is what is happening in these communities. When you walk around, you drive around, and you ask these people in these communities, how then can the cost of living be brought down, and what is the Socialist Party going to do different that the current administration is doing?
First of all, it's very sad. It's a sad situation. One day I saw a huge group of women working, I think it was a program called the Food for Work.
Okay.
It's very dehumanizing, where you see women Literally, we see no gloves, no gum boots, but they are picking out the rubbish from the from the drains. It's very dehumanizing. Let's not subject our women to that.
Okay.
And these are people, as you were saying, in a bid to improve the cost of living. After doing that dirty work, they are being paid, is it 60 kwacha? And the 60 kwacha is not paid right there and then. It takes even months to get that, is it 60 kwacha? And that to us, or to me personally, I don't think that is the way to address the high cost of living. It's not. We are merely dehumanizing our women.
Okay.
If there is that 60 kwacha, please just give it to them. Let them do other things. There are certain things they can do that will also preserve their dignity. These are our mothers. Let's not lower their social status to that level. Perhaps you can, there are so many young boys who are just loitering, maybe give them that job. Yeah, but also, let's look at long-term solutions. I don't think paying people 60 kwacha for doing such a dirty work is part of improving their cost of living.
Is it sustainable?
You know, it's not sustainable. It's not. It's nothing actually. Let's not even beat about the bush. There is also another one, which they are calling imita ufole. It's also very dehumanizing. I don't think this will address the high cost of living. Yeah, so basically the government is urging young women or whoever is in the childbearing age to quickly conceive, so qualify as a prerequisite for getting the 400 kwacha. I don't know how much it is. So these guys have come to an end in terms of thinking, I think.
Okay.
So these are very, very dehumanizing matter. Let's not have a Zambia that reduces us to that level. No, this is not what why we changed the government. No, I don't think. I think we are on the wrong path. Not even I think. It's clear we are on the wrong path. This is not why the people rose up to change the government form.
Okay.
I think if they have run out of ideas, which they are, I think it's better they step aside. Let there be progressive parties to take over. Nabanaka tekubapatikisha iyo awe. Nabanaka tubapatikisha.
Okay.
Lekeni kwise kubamina wababombeko. It is food for work. These are not sustainable.
Cash for work?
Exactly. In fact, that's what. I think there are similar programs, but it's cash for work. But how much cash are you giving them? And how much money is being siphoned through corruption? Huge sums of money. You are hearing of $80 million as per Chitumakurong account.
Yes.
But you know what $80 million can do to this country? Eh?
And that issue, that issue, Mr. Mwale, died the natural death.
Exactly.
Apologies, as it is common in Zambia. You just have to say sorry, then all is forgiven. That issue died a natural death. Somebody sent money to a wrong account. And this is a government agency, Mr. Mwale. It's not an agreement between you and me where you can just send money to me or I can just send money to you through mobile money account or whatever. But this is a government agency. That money has to go through
various processes. The Ministry of Finance is involved, the Accountant General, the Auditor General, the Bank of Zambia.
That's a lot of money, Mr. Mwale.
It's a lot of huge sum of money.
Are the Zambian people being taken for granted?
Exactly, we are being taken for granted, and it is time we rose up against such things. That's why we are calling on the Zambian people. There is evidence. These are not speculations. Evidence is out there.
The writing is on the wall?
The writing is on the wall, exactly. So now let other players take over. That's why we have people like Freddie Membe. These are the people who are speaking for us. And once they speak for us, you are arresting them. It's very painful. It's very, and we will not stop to speak for the Zambian masses. I'm here speaking for the Zambian masses, and I'm urging them, come 2026, let's vote them out.
Okay.
It is worth spending 5 hours on the voting queue than inflicting a 5-year suffering on ourselves.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwale, there's a section of society that believes that the worst that the Zambian people are fearing to happen if they allow the Patriotic Front to continue is now happening. The Zambian people, there's a section of society that is saying they were afraid that the PF, if brought back, they would have increased the cost of fuel, the cost of living would have gone up, and these other economic challenges that the country is facing right now. They're saying this is what we did not want, but it's now happening. Do you agree?
Well, Zambians have a prerogative to put in place who they want. It is not necessarily for me to say if you bring back the PF or you bring back this one, things will be better. No, the PF will be here to speak for themselves what they will do to the people once they are voted back. But as Socialist Party, we have also a program. People need to pay attention to it, and that's why I'm here to say we have an alternative leadership. We have a leadership of integrity. We have Dr. Membe who has committed himself, who has committed himself fully. This is a leader who has put his head on the chopping board for the defense of justice, for the defense of the marginalized Zambians. So people need to pay attention. Here he is, just for speaking for the masses. Freddie Membe tomorrow, he will be arrested for the Zambian people, simply for speaking for the Zambian people. Someone is urging the men and women in uniform not to play a partisan role. There he is, on behalf of the Zambian people. He will be dragged into prison.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwale, I brought in that question because you, as the Socialist Party, are an alternative government.
Exactly.
A government in waiting. And the Zambian people are saying currently there is high cost of living, there's load shedding, there's this fuel, and everything that has to do with hardships, just like they were saying during the PF. Now, my question is, when leaders are held accountable and they are reminded via social media, because social media doesn't forget, this is your post on this particular day, you said you do it better. And also you as the Socialist Party, you are also doing that. There are Facebook posts, you are here, you are on record, you are saying you do things differently. Now, in an instance that you form government, come 2026, if the Zambian people remind you, are we going to see a case where there will be summoned to police force headquarters, like Comrade President Fred Membe, what is currently happening to him today?
Not at all. Not at all. Zambians themselves will rule the country. Zambians themselves will participate in the governance of the country. Yeah, the mistake we have made over the past years is that we have entrusted leadership of the country solely into the hands of the politician. A politician is not the only leader in our country.
Okay.
There are various types of leadership within our society. You have leadership from the religious leaders. They need to play a role in our governance system. You have leaders from the traditional system. They need to come on board and play a role also. You have leaders from the business community. You have leaders from the students' movement. In short, you have literally everyone. All sectors of leadership of our society must play a key role.
Okay.
That is how it should be. That's how we feel it should be. Leadership can not only be the preserve of the politician. In any case, it is these politicians that have created all these problems. It's not the traditional leaders, because we have kept them out of governance system. We are saying don't participate in politics. But running a traditional system of governance is also politics. It's political. Everything is political.
Yes.
So we need everyone to come on board. Exactly. It must be collective leadership. And this is what we are doing in the Socialist Party.
Okay. Let me take you to a copper belt, Mr. Mwale. Copper belt is built on mining.
Yes.
And we are now seeing the small-scale miners, popularly known as the Jarabos. They are out of Sensede mine, and no one is addressing them. The provincial minister is not addressing them. The MP for instance, Chingola is not addressing them, and the mines minister himself is not addressing them. These are youths that are crying day in, day out on social media, on TV. They are saying, look, what's going to happen to us? You've told us to leave the pit, and you're not giving us any alternative. They tried to engage one civic leader. His answer was, follow the women, go for cash for work or food for work, so that you're given a 600 kwacha. Now, this is an individual who's used to working with copper. And when you look at 600 kwacha itself, Mr. Mwale, a bag of mealie meal is fetching closer to 400 kwacha. Life is expensive, and they're being answered in such a manner. How would you do things differently as the Socialist Party?
First of all, Comrade Smart, a government that does not pay attention to the needs of the youth is useless. Let's not even entertain it. Because it's the youth that are a necessary human resource in any country. It's the youth. So any government must pay special attention to the needs of the youth. If it doesn't, I'm afraid that government is useless. Because the youth represent who will be in the future, what our future will be like. So neglecting the primary needs of the youths, I think, is killing ourselves. That government is useless, it's not useful. And this is what we are seeing. We are seeing numbers of youths that are on the street, the junkies, the jarabos we're talking about. How can a country go forward like that if you neglect your youth human resource like that? You see? You know, the development of these countries today is not based, or it does not hinge on the mineral resources that we have underground. It's the brain power of the people, your own people. So meaning any caring government will pay particular attention to education. Will pay particular attention to health. Will pay attention to food security or agriculture. So if you neglect these three areas, definitely you have no future, you have nowhere to go. You are simply spinning on the same spot. If anything, the misery that we are facing today is because our governments have not invested sufficiently in the youths. You have these youths we are calling junkies actually. Ask them, they have got qualifications, tertiary qualifications, many of them actually. But what are we doing? Immediately they graduate from college and universities, they are thrown onto the street. The best employment they can get, if they are lucky, is to my boots, we call them boots.
Mobile money boots.
Mobile money boots. But where is our industry? It's gone. And why has it gone? It's because we have leaders that, as I said, are prioritizing profit over human resources that produce wealth.
Okay. Now, last year, Mr. Mwale, there was a pronouncement coming from the Ministry of Finance itself that come this year, the country is expected to grow by 6.6% growth. Now, my question is, how can a country grow by 6.6% with load shedding, with unemployment, youths are becoming junkies, the Jerabos are not working on the copper belt, meaning that somebody who's supposed to buy, is it tomatoes, cabbages, vegetables, from Banakulu along the roadside, they won't be able to buy. And also Banakulu won't have money to go and order those things to come and sell. So now, where are these projections coming from? There's also recently an economist, he calls himself, he said the economy of this country is projected to grow by 6.6% and it's going to surpass that. Are these figures being massaged, or are these pronouncements that are, where are these pronouncements coming from?
Yeah, I think you have also given me part of the answer, Comrade Smart. In the absence of employment creation strategies, where you have a lot of youths on the street, surely how can an economy grow? Because the growth of an economy hinges on the youth human resource that you have hinges on education, hinges on health, your health sector. How is your health sector like? We have one of the worst health outcomes in the world. This is indisputable. So, really, where is the 6% growth of the economy going to come from in the absence of these fundamentals? So, you have corruption all over, you have everyday money is being siphoned, and yet we are being told there is it 36 million now for the CDF?
Yes, yes.
But when you go into the compounds, you will not see that 6 million. The potholes you see mended here and there, and then they will tell you this is how we spent the...
So where is the money going, Mr. Mwale? Let me find out from you. You have brought in a very important point. CDF, 36 million. But that 36 million is not being seen in these communities. The streets are still the same. The roads are still deplorable. When you talk about floods, wow, Lusaka becomes a heaven of floods during the rainy season. Potholes everywhere, erratic water supply. So where is the 36 million
let's
going?
do this. I come from the Copper Belt. I'm in Nkana constituency. I think if I haven't forgotten the statistics, Nkana constituency of the registered voters as of the 2021 register, whatever, I think we are 27 million there, 27,000 there.
27,000?
Yeah. And that is a constituency.
Okay.
27,000 voters, registered voters, or voters on the register's roll. And then they are telling us we'll give you 36 million. If you divide 27,000 into 36 million, I think we'll be getting, each one of those voters will be getting about 1 million, 1 point something million.
Yes.
Okay? That's a reality. And if you give someone 1 million plus, life changes instantly.
Instantly.
And I'm assured that even next year, also, that can build you a low-cost house.
Yes.
A fully furnished, actually.
Yes.
With that money. It's a huge sum of money. So, I'm citing this example just to exemplify the fact that these are huge sums of money. Sadly, these huge sums of money are being siphoned through corruption. If there was no corruption, we would be seeing instant development in our constituencies. They will tell you they have done a bridge, but you go there, it's a wooden structure bridge.
And it's over 1 million.
It's over 1 million. This is what is happening. It's very sad, and let's stop them. These are issues that will send them straight to prison. From their offices straight into prison. No doubt about it. These are huge sums of money. What if people rose up and said, instead of you doing whatever mediocre works you are doing,
1 by 3 cash
just
blocks?
give me cash. Then you will see it. And then you can sit there and relax. Yes, you will have no problem. Then you will see what I can do with 1 million. Yes. What if people said that? Other than just duping people. No, it's a sad situation. And my appeal to the Zambian people, let's not entertain such things.
Okay.
No, let's not sink to that level.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mwale, we have a tradition here, or that we do with our guests. When you bring up the issue of CDF, we take you to the list of best performing constituencies and worst performing constituencies, and their percentage when it comes to utilization of constituency development funds. Now, I know my director will be putting up that list, but some of the constituencies, Mr. Mwale, it's surprising to note that some of the constituencies that are coming from the governing party are the worst performing constituencies. Okay, there goes the list there. Let's start with Kabwata constituency. Domicile Dwache in the capital city. Mr. Mwale, this list is obviously courtesy of Transparency International Zambia. Kawata constituency is at 3% utilization of CDF funds, community projects, spent funds on community projects. It's at 3%. Lumezi, which is being led by Honorable Munia Zulu, an independent member of parliament, it's at 100%. Let's go to Dundumwezi, the bedroom of the UPND. It's at 0.4%, Mr. Mwadi. Let's go to Feira, under an opposition member of parliament. It's at 99% utilization of constituency development funds when it comes to community projects. Now, Mr. Mwadi, monies are allocated at the same time. These are the same amounts that are given, 36 million. But look at the disparities when it comes to utilization. Yeah,
but even those where it says money has been utilized, the question is, how has that money been utilized? Because once you get is it the FIC report or the auditor's report, it shows glaring figures that are unaccounted for where money has been spent. So those are also key issues to raise. It's not just about spending money has been spent or so much percentage of the whatever allocated money has been spent, but how has that money been spent? It may be recorded as money spent, but how was that money spent? Yeah, so the expenditure may have gone to someone's pocket and it's recorded as spent. Because they are simply, those figures I think simply give us a picture of what was allocated and how the money was, not how the money was spent, but what was spent. Okay. Yeah, so the question is, how was that money spent? That's the question we need to ask.
So the how needs to be answered.
Exactly. It's the how that needs to be asked. Because when you, as I said, when you go into the townships, you don't see that money. You don't see where that money, you can't even point at it. This is where the 100% that the 36 million went.
So then why do we keep on increasing CDF funds?
Well, as I said, this is...
Would you do that as a socialist party as well?
No, I think let's involve people right from the beginning, right into the middle, and right into the end of every process. Let people take part. Let people participate. If there was a cap here, by 10 hours, by 12 hours it misses, you must be able to come and say, oh, there was a cap here, but who has taken it? Yeah, so the monitoring aspect is virtually non-existent. So that's why we have mediocre projects or projects that are really below par being fronted to the masses to say this is what we have done. But when you look at them, look at the quality. There are no roads in the compounds. Look at what was happening with the flooding in Kanyama, for example. I was there. It's pathetic. If there was 36 million, I don't think the level of flood crisis in Kanyama would have gone to that extent. No, I don't think so. Okay. It's a question of drainage. And 36 million can at least mitigate that the flooding crisis in Kanyama. And we have had the Kanyama flood crisis year in, year out. This is the fourth year now. There's nothing being done. But 36 million has always been being churned out from the treasury.
Okay. Mr. Mwale, as we go, your last words to the Zambian people out there.
My last words to the Zambian people, UPND ngana banaka twebapatikisha yo. Ififine babumbireko nangufyabo na ushi pereri papeni. Imagine another 5 years of PF. How will our lives be? How will be the future of our young ones who are coming before us be? If in Tafichilap, Nafiona Katapadi Chilipwapeto to Alaika Lilayo, we need to put in a new government. Let others also get into government. Let's also listen. We have an alternative leadership under the leadership of Dr. Freddie Membe. Today, tomorrow, Freddie Membe will be locked up, most likely. Because he's speaking for us, he's speaking the truth. Abantu balelande chishinka, ewo baleka. Tabalefo wakulandako. Because they don't want anyone to speak. That becomes a crime in this country. we have mediocre leadership because of ABCD, and therefore this is mediocre leadership. That's the case. They are putting up cyber laws today simply to limit our freedom of expression. This is a country that has totally lost democracy. You can't speak now the way we used to. You can't speak, you can't write, you can't speak, you can't do anything, otherwise you'll be locked up. And we have an example in Dr. Membe. So I'm urging the Zambian people to rally behind the Dr. Membe. Let's rise in masses, let's rise in solidarity to protect him. He is all that we have for now to lead Zambia, to lead a prosperous, or Zambia, to lead Zambia to prosperity. Who take over UPND, never feel one, never finish. How can we have few at 15 kwacha in Malawi? Here we have almost twice that. It's absurd. So let's see a rise in solidarity to our leaders. It's our duty to protect these leaders. Let's ensure that we protect them, we defend them to the hilt. So we call upon all Zambian masses to protect Dr. Membe. He is speaking for us. For the UPND that are twisting and destroying Dr. Membe into prison, please take this as a kind warning. It's a kind but stern warning also. This is not politics we are doing. This is inhumanity at its highest level. Dr. Membe is our leader. Dr. Membe is a family person. So every now and again you are throwing into prison. What do you want to achieve out of it? By arresting Dr. Membe, then you are assured of perpetuity in politics, in governance? Definitely not. It's not about Dr. Membe. It's about the Zambian people. So, beneath the surface of apparent calm, tranquility, and normality, there is a raging storm underground that is raging. And once this reaches a concentration point, it will explode and it will have cataclysmic consequences on you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mwale, for coming through. Now, that's Mr. Mwale from the Socialist Party. He is the Deputy General Secretary for Political Affairs, making his appearance on RT Breakfast Show, or if you like, Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show, right here on Camnet TV. I have been your host, Tapelo Joe Smata is my name, on behalf of my guest, my director, and you, the viewers. We'll see you when you see us. Good morning and God bless.